I'm calm. But I feel sick. I was walking and my son saw me. And we went for a walk and told him some of what's happened. I've told him to go home. I'll be home soon. I will. I really have faith in this, and I'm really trying to find it inside of me to remember why I have as much right to be here. I can't. I am not going to kill myself. I won't. There would be no way of doing it without traumatizing somebody else. So I can't do that. But I don't feel like I want to be where I was or found or around anybody. I want to be in the air, walking and crying and trying not to let all these thoughts and memories overwhelm me, because I can't handle it. I can't handle the truth. Why should I? I can't handle to know. I reached out to 2 men today to tell them I want to kill myself. And it was a considerable amount of time ago, and sadly quite justifiable. I've had no cause. I've had no replies. So please, don't tell people to reach out. Please don't do that, because those of us who do, we feel as though you're just checking that the job is nearly done. Kind of has that effect. It doesn't. It you know, sometimes emotional pain can be so damn extreme, you don't even want help coming back. Because to be in a clear frame of mind, with a strong body, I'm more scared of looking back at this. I don't want it to be my story. But it is. And I've been so scared to tell it because sometimes when I start, I get confused. That I'm dramatizing what's happened to me, and my very, 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 very first support should be and was Kevin. And that's my first hurdle. You see, it's it's the first hurdle where what happened isn't that bad, just you've got to forget about it. And whether I have BPD or not, I know I'm not walking the streets and crying because I have BPD. Because if I did, and I just thought this was happening to me and it wasn't really happening, my loving boyfriend, I'd be in his arms. I wouldn't be here. But he's got more money to make. I don't know how much he needs to make because the goalposts and the incentives and the reasons they change all the time, and all I could say is that whenever we're happy, he doesn't have any money, and when I'm out here fighting on my own, he does. Not one time, or 2 times, or 3 or 4. It's a lot, and it's undeniable, and I can hear him in my head right now telling me, babe, this is crazy, you're not well. No. He stayed at my house the morning he came to the vets with me. It was nothing special. We didn't fight. I don't even really remember it, to be honest. And next morning, I'd gone downstairs and he came back up. And he said, oh my God, my dad's house has been raided. These people he rang his dad to check he was okay, and he was, I mean, apart from angry probably and put out, overall he was okay, but I wasn't. I really wasn't, and Kevin said he had to go home to look after his dad, and yeah, this is the other really hard bit that brings in how little I'm worth. I don't know if I'm making any sense, and I don't know who will understand this, but without going into detail, Kevin has told me things like you do when you're with somebody. You tell them things about your past and your family and whatever, and he did, and they weren't very nice things. And everyone saw themselves in the beginning how aggressive he was to his dad and blamed his dad for abusing him. All this stuff. And I cared about him for the things that he told me. Yeah. He was gonna leave me not okay to go to a police station to make a complaint. Let me tell you what's happening, what's gone on since November. In November, for those of you that don't know, hadn't long gotten over the trauma of the summer, and then Kevin met somebody new again, and like usual I become frightened because I get him to do things. The things Kevin chose to do with this guy were not good. They were not good on the internet in the first place with regards to advertising meet-up sex apps on TikTok with no 18 restrictions. Kevin broke my heart quite considerably with the things he made me think, the things he did, with the things I'm finding out he's done. Okay, so in the beginning he would tell me that these guys want to hook him up with some guy for boxing. I forgot his name. But I never believed them because it's Kevin. Why would they? Why would a successful boxer need anything from this TikTok? So I beg him, and I beg him, and I beg him, don't hurt us any more than we've already been hurt. But he told me they're gonna give him real diamonds and they'll pay for me to have whatever treatment I want done. And this just added further to me knowing I was right. But he didn't want to believe me. And in the beginning when this used to happen, I used to think, was his naivety really so bad that people could reel him in, groom him in with things, even with me crying on my knees not to do it? Surely no one can be that naive. But today I found out a really hard truth. Today I found out what I was frightened of the most. And today I found out what that woman who said she wants to keep going till I'm dead, I found out that is out there. I won't be dead. I won't be dead. Anyway. So, Kevin, as usual, he chose this guy over me, over us. Every single bit of hell, every scar, every breakdown, all to stand by him, and because I trusted and believed him, was for nothing. So then I become really ill, and it was around my birthday. I was so ill. He didn't give me a moment's thought. My messages to him, pleading with him, I didn't get any replies. Yeah. Gone there one night and then stayed in a hotel. He was live in the morning, sitting in the bathroom, and I saw it. So I asked him, why are you sitting in the bathroom? He said it was for better signal, and straight away, it didn't make sense to me, and straight away, I was so scared. Why did he lie? He's clearly lied, but what's the reason for the lie? And I couldn't cope. Because this man wouldn't have witnessed all of this and do that. No. It just ate away at me so much. I didn't eat. I didn't have any money to eat, and I didn't want to ask anyone for help. I wanted to just sleep and never wake up. That's what I thought would happen. And it played on my mind for a really long time. Something wasn't right. To love somebody as much as I did. To have gone through so much hell, so much blame, so much grief and slander and stalking and bullying, body shaming, all of it. Didn't count for anything. Nothing. Sometimes the feeling of what he may have done just come from nowhere in my stomach, and I would feel so sick. So I'd ask him for reassurance that just tell me. I said, if you did anything, if you fucked up, You have to tell me. You can't leave it for these people to hang over me so that you can all use it for money and views. And I have the right to know if I should be in love with him or not. And he said, I have to stop thinking it. I have to stop thinking it. I couldn't. I asked him again, please tell me the truth, because something doesn't feel right. So he told me a new truth. He told me he was sat in the bathroom because this man he went with was in bed and he was too embarrassed to tell me about two men in a hotel room together, and that they had to share, makes them look a bit broke, right? So now I know I was right and he lied, and it's made it harder, not better, and still just weren't right with it, because when he then did go downstairs, he went down to the lobby and he met a guy. Presuming that is the guy he was sitting in the bathroom away from. I just wanted to know there and then if he messed up, if he hurt me so badly. I'll have to get over it. I'll have to move on. But you can't stay with me out of the scene. You can't let somebody be in love with you based on someone who's not real. And this carried on even longer and even longer. And then this guy messaged me. I think it was a little bit after the woman said they're gonna have sex with Kevin and make me watch, so I killed myself. I think it was after that, I can't remember, I'd have to have a look. But he messaged me to tell me that Kevin did something with someone and he's got it on video. And let me tell you the thoughts I was having, my version, knowing nothing, or just from my gut, with what these men were about and with what they had promised Kevin and with what Kevin is clearly prepared to put me through, because I don't want to be with somebody involved in sex and I don't have to be, and therefore I have the right to know. You can't have a life like that and a life with somebody who can't cope with that. You can't. You took away my right. You took away my right to decide. Took away those rights. I said to Kevin, this guy had messaged me to tell me he did stuff with a woman, and Kevin just laughed. He said, what absolute bollocks. I could have done with much more of a compassionate message than that, but that's about what I get. And for some reason my gut told me more. He could cheat on me. You can cheat on me one time and I can go, I'll take a lot. I will never, ever take being cheated on. No man could ever want to touch me, be intimate with me, and want to touch somebody else, because for me, any other man, it would be dirty. Would you go into a restaurant and just put your hands down any man's trousers and then go and eat your dinner? You wouldn't. It would be filthy. It would be disgusting. And that's how I view cheating. You can only love one body. One body. You can fancy other women. You can think, wow, look at their amazing bodies, whatever. You shouldn't want to touch them. Not if you're in love, because when you're in love, the world revolves around the two of you. And that's why no one could get me away from you, because my world revolved around being a bubble with me and you inside of it. But it wasn't a bubble, was it? It was suffocation. I thought, because of what they were advertising, that they probably made Kevin do stuff with a woman for some disgusting, dirty sight. As my boyfriend, my soulmate. But it doesn't end there. It's not enough. So far, how would you cope? Not only your boyfriend, who you thought was your soulmate, has cheated on you, possibly done things with women for money behind your back. Jeg, a woman called Jeg. I wasn't around for that. I was long gone. Kevin had made me long gone, too frightened to be near his TikTok for that. And then one day when I did go there, I saw her in the comments. And so I commented, and I never saw her again. She just left. Is it coincidence? Is my head being played with? He told people he has someone that he can collab with on OnlyFans, knowing what that did to me. Yesterday, the memory of what he said so degrading. He just very blasé just said, well, if it was said, it wasn't meant. It doesn't matter if it was meant, it was said. And I never knew. That man didn't know. So I believe they got him to do something to advertise whatever filth that was, because you can do it. I don't have a problem with people doing what they want with their bodies, but when it's your boyfriend doing it behind your back, when he's on social media and he's showing you and your life and your world and he's doing things like that, I didn't consent to share. I didn't consent. So I've been fighting really hard since November not to let that make me ill. So he tried a little bit more, and he's got his new person to try and destroy me with, and it wasn't working. He's tried to use a woman called Adrielle. She's a woman from America, and he battles her. She has some trolls apparently that really hate her, and so they give Kevin a very considerable amount of money. Now, that's not my problem. He, she, and everyone else, if they can handle it, are entitled to do what they want. That's up to them. However, what he tried to do with Chelsea Leah, it didn't work. He tried it with her. He uses these women as a bait to destroy me, and they don't even know. They're oblivious. So Kevin done things with this woman to really hurt me. And this isn't about jealousy at all. If he hasn't done anything, I would have no reason to be jealous, and to my knowledge and from what he tells me, there's nothing. So that's nothing. Let's just really get rid of that bit there. No jealousy. But he created an issue whereby he wanted to keep coming at me every time I told him the issue. He wanted to come at me to make me believe I'm not thinking of her in that way. That was never my problem. But from the way he kept coming at me with that kind of shit, made me feel like he wanted that to be my problem. No, it wasn't. The spite and the malice and the unnecessary thinking that he caused. Just a few weeks back, I was cooking just for him. I couldn't eat, I wasn't feeling it, and so I just cooked for him. He was upstairs on the bed and I was cooking, and Matt was on the phone. No, he wasn't, not yet. I don't know anyway. I had thought just come over me. Awful intrusive thoughts that he planted right inside of me for weeks and weeks and weeks. Because them intrusive thoughts, I didn't understand them, and I would have outbursts and breakdowns. I was starting to understand them. You know, he'd told me enough about everything I was saying wasn't true. So I learned best thing to do when them thoughts come from nowhere, for no reason at all, is to talk about them. I went upstairs and I said to him, just had a really awful intrusive thought. I was just stirring the dinner and it came from nowhere. I said, could we just go round the block so I can talk about it? He said no. So I called Nat to talk about it. And then these people that I have no choice to talk to because of the pain he leaves me in, he then resents them because they think bad of him. And we can't have that. Eventually, with Matt on the phone, Kevin agreed to help me and walk round the block with me. It's sad, and another man had to tell him to do that, but he did. He did in the end. I explained what was going on, what I was feeling, what I was thinking. I didn't say too much, but there was just no room to say he didn't listen and he didn't understand. He had to. And it was immediately after that he went home. And that night, battled whilst watching my vlog to hurt me. Maybe my intrusive thought offended him. I really don't know what I did to make him go home and do that to me. And then all of this. There's nothing he can tell you. Why do I get so frightened? It's justified. It's all justified. I get so frightened because back when I first met him, he had a moderator called Scatty, and he told her that I abused him. This was all as my life was being turned upside down. This was all as it was going around TikTok. I let my children be raped and things like that, brick through my window. I heard it from about 5 different women, some not spoken to the other, things that Kevin has told them. And they're not good about me. And they're not true either. So, to know how Kevin runs to people when Tanya is pushed to the limit and she's going to have no choice than to talk. He's going to panic because it's Kevin. And he'll talk to someone, and the problem is Kevin doesn't really tend to have good people, safe people. He doesn't know who he's talking to. All he knows is they give him fake praise and throw a few gifts at him. Not only that, but he doesn't tell it how it is. He used to just miss bits out so that it could just sound like Tanya's mental health and Kevin, you need to be careful. Then it stepped up a notch and it turned more into she's abusing me and beating me. And then it turned into just outright lying. This was when my head first started becoming too unclear, started losing grip of reality, my own thoughts, doubting my own self. And then it went even further. I couldn't have even scripted this up, that this can get further and further, but it does. The manipulative narratives behind my back to dangerous people he didn't know, and to his parents, everyone. It started to become apparent that that's what he was doing, and I started talking to these women and it became a little bit more obvious what he was doing. You'd think that would be the ending point, but it wasn't. It didn't matter that I was knowing what he was doing because only I knew. Yeah? What was that gonna do? What did it matter that I knew he was lying? He would tell me he'll go and see the doctor. He doesn't know why he does it. Go see the doctor. He'll go as far as to make an appointment. He's never actually gone through with it. So I pretty much lose every friend that way because my friendships become more about leaving me feeling like a vulnerable, weak little victim, constantly needing support, and I shouldn't need constant support. The only thing I ever needed support from was Kevin and TikTok. And all the friends I have were friends who would watch Kevin. They look at that man's face and they listen to that man's voice considerable amount of time, much more than me. And that's hard to be friends with people like that. Anyway, never mind the fact that every friend I have, Kevin's got to be in that. So Matt comes along never used to really talk to him much in the early days, not via phone. He would message, and told him sometimes it would be a bit of a head bust. It would come with all this information and my head would be so busted. And then I don't really know how we got more on a level where we talked a bit more. I became a bit more comfortable with talking to him on the phone. It became easier. And obviously Kevin was included in that. But now when Kevin broke me, he knows that Matt was my friend. Matt would listen. Kevin would get to him too, so it's now another friend like that. Tanya messaging, Kevin messaging. So not only does that turn my stomach, but what is Kevin saying to my friend? Is Kevin trying to make my friend believe I'm crazy, an abuser? And if he is, why? Because all I ever wanted to do was get to the bottom of what was happening to me. Like I thought he'd wanted to, but he didn't. He won't come near me and Jack at home. When there's smoke, I go out in the freezing cold. I stand up the window freezing cold to not violate his body because of the psychosis he could possibly go into if he went anywhere near drugs. I used to get out of my own car to smoke a cigarette because he didn't like it. But he can be hotboxed in a van. So I do feel a little bit targeted. I do feel it's a vendetta against me because I'm the only one that you'll attack. A woman threatened you and you picked up the phone so fast to the police to blame me for another woman threatening you, like I would be part of that. But apparently you're too scared to call the police on anybody else. So So it got announced the other day that this man is going to start posting stuff, and Matt messaged Kevin, told him to do the right thing by me and to protect me, and if there is anything at all, do the right thing and tell me. You don't hurt a woman publicly to that level with intention when it could be avoided. So it brings us back to every time the woman who wants me dead and is prepared to give Kevin money in order to do so. Tell me that's an intrusive thought and I'll go section myself right away. Because as broken as I am right now, I can still see through that. Why don't you leave then, Tanya? Why are you still with him, Tanya? You've known this all a long time. Yeah. Yeah, I have. How do you comprehend that? How do you tell your brain that that's real? My brain isn't doing it. It's not gonna do it, which is why I messaged him this morning, ready to give him whatever he wanted to make him love me the way he says he does. Yeah, I've had 2 men today. Both witnessed how low I am. They're both looking at my stories on Instagram. They know. Today, 2 men have told me things that both of them have acknowledged. Sometimes she doesn't need to know because she's not in a safe place. Today, They both wanted to tell me stuff. So what do you think that intrusive thought is thinking? I don't think I even need to tell you. And now you've got to decide, is it an intrusive thought or is it reality? Are people actually really trying to kill me on social media for entertainment and money? And that's so fucking real. Police haven't wanted to know. I have contacted every authority imaginable, and none of them have wanted to know. There's no one gonna be able to tell me something that's gonna put this right. All these places I'm walking through, I've walked them with sadness so many times. That's the premiering right there. That car park I had a horrific breakdown in. Well, Kevin stood in front of me and watched. That was Valentine's Day 2024. What does he get if I do take my life? Is it a jackpot? Is it $5,000? So it's not paranoia. This isn't entertainment. This isn't fake. This isn't any of that. It's real. It's happening to me. It's been happening. So either way, all I know is there's only two things, but there has to be a result. And the result isn't just wake up in the morning and it never happened, my mind is going to be erased. No, it can't work like that. The only results can be I'm out here alone, fighting myself on this level because I'm insane and poor Kevin just can't cope with me anymore. Or I'm out here struggling with this level of pain because Kevin is at home getting rewarded for me showing that. But don't consider this that you got me. Consider this enough for me to have full clarification, to go to the police and absolutely fucking demand that they investigate everything I'm saying, because either way, if I'm insane, I need help, right? But I can't just tell my story, it sounds so crazy, and we say, yeah, she's insane. Because my story's true, it's not made up. Intrusive thoughts for me before were more along the lines of, the person doesn't really like you, you look horrible, you don't deserve your job, somebody else does. Yes. That's how I understood my intrusive thoughts. They were never my soulmate is trying to kill me for money or to shut me up. there's no need to shut me up because there's nothing I can say, is there? You didn't do anything wrong. So just let me talk. But to take £1,300 from a man who messaged me something, teamed up with somebody wanting to take my life, there's a little bit too much out there in my face that even I can't convince myself this is paranoia anymore. Do you know how it feels to not want to go home? Because you don't feel safe with your own self. Do you know how it feels to know just a few days ago you was going to take me away in a tent? Do you know? No, you weren't. You want to take me out in a box. I've hidden here before. While he was at the premiere, I sat there. And I wanted to die. It's such a horrible feeling. To not be suicidal exactly, but to want to die. Because there's no escape from yourself and what it feels like. I don't even know how to talk about that. It brings me so close to feeling safe. I just... Do you know what I hate about here the most? There is nowhere to hide. You don't realise that until you need it. There's literally nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to be private.